bad weather has to be something that's in consideration at the moment, because in this particular part of the world there's something called the Intertropical Convergence Zone, ITCZ, they love their acronyms, where basically the weather of the northern hemisphere clashes with the weather of the southern hemisphere. There is often very bad weather in these areas. I think it can be assumed that there probably was quite a lot of bad weather. That would tie in with the request of the aircraft to alter its flight path. They would have seen thunderclouds on their weather radar, perhaps, and decided to try and go round them. There's also been some report of them trying to increase altitude. That's not confirmed, and it's very difficult to fly over those storms because these clouds can go up to more than 50,000 feet, which is higher than the aircraft could climb anyway. And they do have a lot of very severe turbulence in them. It's not unknown for aircraft to have been broken up by these kind of clouds, so that's why you try and avoid them.
For relatives of those on board the AirAsia flight, a desperately anxious wait for news. Here at Juanda Airport, Surabaya, relatives and friends checking the passenger list as the hours passed after the last contact from the plane just over 40 minutes into its flight towards Singapore. I hope for a miracle and may God save all of them, says Purnomo, a friend of two of the passengers. I should have gone with them, but I cancelled my flight 2 weeks ago. Said his friends were travelling with 5 family members. Before setting off, one of them called him and said, "See you in the new year." And then the bad news came. The AirAsia plane, an Airbus 320 similar to this one, had taken off from Surabaya at 22:30 GMT. Indonesian officials say that over the Java Sea, the pilot sought permission to change route and fly higher to avoid clouds. Nothing more was heard from the plane.
We have deployed 2 aircraft from the Indonesian Naval Aviation, one from Batam, MPA, Maritime Patrol Aircraft, and one from Juanda Air Base.
So a major search operation has now been underway for several hours, but as yet, according to officials, there's no sign of any wreckage. And they caution that they're searching across a wide area of more than 100 nautical miles. All ships in the area have been informed of the missing aircraft, whose captain has substantial flying experience. The regional low-cost airline has never lost a plane before and has a good safety record. The Malaysian businessman who took over AirAsia in 2001, Tony Fernandez, has tweeted, "Thank you for all your thoughts and prayers. We must stay strong."
Security at Singapore's Changi Airport is ensuring that no one gets inside that holding area over there, where currently the friends and families of those on board flight QZ8501 are being held. Media has been camped out here all day. There's huge interest in this ongoing investigation, as you can imagine, but airport authorities have told us that the families and friends of those on board the plane are being regularly briefed inside and nobody is allowed in. Here's what we do know at this stage. The airplane lost contact with air traffic control authorities in Indonesia around 42 minutes into its flight from Surabaya to Singapore. There were 155 people on board. Most of them are Indonesian citizens. What we do know as well is that the Indonesian search and rescue teams have dispatched ships into the area of the Java Sea. That's where it's thought the plane was when it lost contact with air traffic control authorities in Jakarta. It's a vast expanse of ocean, some 320,000 kilometers. So it is a very difficult procedure and operation for the ships to go out there and conduct their search and rescue operations. It is an investigation that is likely to continue over the next few days.
The chief executive of the airline AirAsia, Tony Fernandez, has tweeted, "On my way to Surabaya, where most of the passengers are from, as with my Indonesian management, providing information as we get it." He also said that his only thoughts were for the passengers and crew. Well, meanwhile, Singapore's Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong tweeted that he has called the Indonesian President Joko Widodo to offer help in the search operation. He added, 2 RSAF C-130 search and locate aircraft are on standby. Our ministers will follow up. And the Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak tweeted, "Very sad to hear that AirAsia Indonesia QZ8501 is missing. My thoughts are with the families. Malaysia stands ready to help."